Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the IATC Exchange Zone podcast, the State Meet Preview Show, presented as always by the Iowa Association of Track Coaches. We're so happy you are joining us tonight on a Monday, the week of the state meet, and it looks to be another great state championship in Fort Dodge. Ben Dewey here, joined as always by Kyle Wagner. How are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
I am in just trying to decompress a little bit. Plane landed at 5:40. We raced home in the car. You guys probably saw the luggage at the door.
The luggage was right when I walked in the door.
Yeah.
You're trying to chow down chips, salsa, and dry Cheerios.
Dry plain Cheerios.
Dry plain Cheerios.
Turn on my sign.
So, we're a little out of sorts, but we'll get dialed in here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great episode. And Joel Bloomer's here tonight, along with Christian running the show as a producer. Hard to believe we only have 3 episodes remaining, 2 after tonight. The season flies by. And this new video podcast has been a lot of fun. And, we want to thank all of our listeners and people who tune in every week. Our stats are just really good this year. The video has expanded our platform and where we can reach people. And want to thank all of you for listening. And we'll finish the season off strong here over the next couple of weeks. If you would like, we'd always ask you to subscribe to our podcast, and we have multiple different social media sites with Facebook, Instagram, and then our podcast audio version is on iTunes and Spotify. And as always, if you want to contact us, there is our contact information on the screen. Seems like we haven't had as many emails later in the year as earlier in the year, which maybe that's a good thing.
I was thinking you got way more than me because I don't get hardly any anymore, but the ones we do still get, we definitely appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. The IATC fall meeting will be November 17th at Northwest High School. This is for coaches. And this is for cross-country, track and field, head coaches and assistant coaches. It's not just a head coaches meeting. And we'll meet at 9 a.m. at Northwest. Also a reminder, all-state nominations for academic all-state, those need to be submitted here. And I should know of all people when it's due. I'm sorry, folks. I'm tried to cram in here. I was going to put all the information down, but academic all-state nominations are due here, I'm sure, right around the state meet or shortly thereafter. And then Coach of the Year nominations for assistant coaches and middle school state coaches of the year. Those are all due, I believe, the Friday before that meeting. So we want to make sure and do that. And then make sure, coaches, that you know the change in that academic all-state criteria. No longer are we looking at the ACT score or SAT score. It's strictly GPA. And then make sure that you have either made it to the state meet or you were in the top 30 at the state qualifying meet, I believe is the criteria. So just a couple housekeeping items there. Anything else you want to add?
Just another thank you. Even we had some Eastern Iowa teams at our site, so I know we have listeners over there. They'd come up to me and tell me they appreciate the podcast and the platform and, everything in between. So those words mean a lot to us.
And this past weekend, there were, well, let's do this on the screen. Thanks, Christian. The She Coaches. We are looking for 3 more coaches that the IATC will sponsor to attend this She Coaches convention in Ames on November 15th. At 9 a.m. start time. The IATC will fully pay for these 3 coaches to attend. We have 3 available spots. If you're interested, you can reach out to Abby Schmitz the first vice president of the IATC, and she will get you signed up. Or you can email me as well, and I can forward that on to Abby. We have 3 free spots left. It's a great clinic, primarily targeted for female coaches. And if you're interested, go ahead and reach out, and we'll get you that free opportunity. And this past weekend, the JV state meet, hats off to those kids that put the meet on. I think it was solely kids that did it.
Yeah, so Cedar Rapids Prairie kids.
Yeah, and I had a couple emails from a couple coaches and then just a parent this week with pictures. I meant to send those as well. I do have some pictures to put up, and maybe we'll do that next week, but pretty cool deal.
And I saw KCRG did a story on it over there. Like, that's awesome. And I think now, knowing next year, I think more teams will, if they're able to do it again next year, will commit early. And I didn't help at all. They can make it bigger and better, and it'll be a really cool thing to end the season next year.
Joel, do you like the idea of the JV state meet?
Yeah, I think it's a unique idea that allows for a more participation from all runners of all abilities, I guess.
Okay, good. Well, while we're on, Joel, let's go to our quick question of the week. And I need to put this on Twitter, so go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, the quick question is socks or no socks with spikes?
What do you think, Kyle?
I'm team socks. I know it adds a little weight, but I just feel no socks in a shoe is absolutely disgusting.
Joel, what do you think?
I usually always have socks for similar reasons, and it feels a little bit better to me.
Okay. Same here when I ran. However, I do feel like sprinters in track and field tend to go with the no sock look.
And I haven't put spikes on in probably 10 years. So the spikes now might be a lot more different than what we competed in. But at least the spikes back then, I'm putting socks on.
Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. So we'll see here. I'm trying to get it out on X. And here we go. See if it goes through. All right, let's get started. Everyone's excited for the state meet, so we might as well spend some time previewing this meet. And this tweet will not send, guys. Might have to do it off my phone. We want to read. There we go. It went through. On the screen, you've got the state meet schedule, and it rotates each year. So this year, we have the Friday session will be 3A girls and boys in the morning, 4A in the afternoon, girls and boys. And then on Saturday, you've got the 1A girls and boys along with the wheelchair division and the 2A girls and boys. So there's your state meet schedule. And make sure you get there early, as parking can be tough to come by, especially that first session. It seems like it's a little bit more congested because everyone's getting there at the same time.
Yeah, we were the Saturday afternoon last year, and even with the split, I still couldn't believe how difficult it was to get in to the park and parked and dropped off and set up. So we're morning this year, so we'll see if it's on Friday a little bit different. But either way, get there early no matter what.
Makes you wonder how we used to have all 4 classes. I think the separation of the days has increased the overall attendance. It's had to.
Yeah, and it's so I think people are maybe more likely to not worry about dealing with traffic when it was all on one day. I do miss it. It is, especially you take a team up one day and you go home and then go back up again the next day. Because really, Fort Dodge, there's not a ton around there, I guess, for hotels and things like that, at least to my knowledge. But I miss the one day. The 2 days also nice for that side of it, but you can't have your cake and eat it too, I guess.
Do we have anyone in the chat today?
Oh, gosh.
Welcome, everyone. I still can't see the chat, but you know what I kind of enjoy doing now is after the episode, like on Monday, well, now Tuesday, I go back and reread. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Shout out to those who are in the chat. We really appreciate you.
We are missing Tony tonight, though. That has been
Tony's out.
Tony is out tonight.
Okay.
I don't know.
Focusing for the race.
Must be.
And congratulations to Tony on the commitment. That
Mhm.
reminds me, if you have a commitment, and we'll go out and do some research, but in the next 2 episodes before we're done for the season, we're going to highlight our commitments so far in cross country, because the first signing day here is coming up next week, I think. So I know, Tony signed, Drew Beeson signed up at South Dakota. I'm sure I'm missing a lot more.
Yeah, Owen Merritt at Creighton.
Owen Merritt out over at Creighton, and we'll put their picture on the screen, make a nice little graphic for them. So if you have a signee or you're signing, send it to us, and we will put it up there on the screen either next week or before our final episode. All right, it's go time. And we had rave reviews last week of starting with 1A, so we'll go with that again.
All right.
Yep, and why don't you explain your scoring
All right.
criteria before we get going in this?
We have he doesn't have paper tonight. We have a 10-page script, so I got to dive to the bottom here. So
Not enough room on the
not
airplane,
enough room.
right?
Got to scroll to page 9 here to find our scoring. So 1 point for each correct podium pick, and it must be the exact place. Even if they're on the podium, if you picked them first and they get third,
Yep.
you don't get the point. 1 bonus point if all 3 are correct in the correct order. 2 points for each individual champion picked. 1 point for every spot your surprise team finishes above their week 8 ranking. So if they're ranked 9th and they get 4th, count the points. I think that's 5. I'm not very good at math, but and then all non-ranked teams, they're just going at 15 or 16, whatever or however many teams are in that class. So 1A 16, the rest 15. And then any lock is an additional point. If that lock does not happen,
I didn't know that.
well, you can put more locks. It's fine. Any lock that doesn't hit is -3.
Wow. You got all that, Joel?
You got to be careful with the lock.
Yeah,
it's
I
in,
got it.
It's in the script. So if you need it there, but
Joel's going to be our scorer, you think?
yes,
Okay.
the honorable Judge Joel.
All right, Joel. So Joel's going to track that this week, and he'll reveal the champion next week. What does the loser have to do?
Ooh. Well, think about that during the episode.
Ask the people in the chat.
No, because it's a lot of Bondurant kids. That,
Oh, jeez.
that's dangerous.
Okay.
We'll think about it during the episode. We'll have something at the end. How about that? Give us some
All right.
time to think.
Let's get going with 1A. And before we get started with 1A, I said let's get going. We have to go over some upsets.
Yep.
Because at the state qualifying meet, there were some wacky things that happened this last week.
There were. And it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if you feel this way in track at all, but it's kind of a bittersweet day. Like, like us, yes, we were happy we qualified, but you also, you get on the bus, you go home, and you also start looking at results, and you see certain teams got beat, certain teams didn't make it, certain teams got upset that, had the seasons for them to be, deserving of qualifying for the state meet. So it's tough. You got to be on one day, and if you're off even the smallest bit, cross country in Iowa has gotten good enough where there's going to be a team there to capitalize. So it's bittersweet, I guess, in that sense. When you do those results, you're super, super happy, but you're also feeling for some of those teams.
Yeah, and there were numerous upsets. And why don't you start with your 4 there, and I've got about 5.
Yeah, we'll start 1A girls. One of our, I would say, podium picks to start the season, Southwind, ranked number 3, gets taken down by Maquoketa Valley by 2 points. Massive there. I think we both thought it was between Maquoketa Valley and Wapsie Valley for second. It ended up being Southwind just barely hanging on over Wapsie Valley to secure that berth
Huge
to the
upset.
state meet. So, Southwind hasn't seen a lot of these teams this year, so it has been hard to get a read on them, but Southwind always seems to come through in the clutch in the 1A girls race. So excited to see what they'll do this coming Saturday. Second one I got, 4A girls, number 20 Ames. I think a lot of people ruled them out, including myself. to get to the state meet, but they take down Dowling by 13 points. Dowling coming in ranked number 13. So bit of an upset there with Ames's injuries to end the season there. And then how about unranked Roosevelt over number 14 Indianola?
Not cheering against Indianola, but I called Roosevelt.
You did.
Start of the year.
The Alliance. I didn't believe you. They take down Indianola by 3 points. Just absolutely did not see that coming one bit. Even after last week, I thought their performance against Ames, not necessarily a fluke, but I thought it was just Ames wasn't there, and it turns out both teams are. So big credit to both those teams, Ames and Roosevelt, moving on. And then just the other 4A upset on the girls' side to mention was number 11 Hempstead over Cedar Falls. Cedar Falls ranked 8th. They were, ranked 4th a few weeks ago. So a little bit of an upset there for Hempstead. And then boys, massive upset here. Number 20 Marshalltown over number 8 Ankeny Centennial by 7 points. Centennial was probably the second team on paper there. So Marshalltown to pull off that upset is absolutely incredible here.
Yeah, shout out to Marshalltown. Those first 3 runners are legit.
Man.
And they came through on their home course. But those 4 and 5 runners were tremendous and much better than they were at their meet before at the conference meet. So,
and you see it in 1A and even 4A a little bit too with the number of teams. Your 5, it helps your 5 not get pushed back as far. And even in 1A, you could finish 52nd place, but with all the incomplete teams, you're 33rd in the team scoring. It just changes things completely with those different size of meets based on the number of teams you have. So, but still, either way, big credit to Marshalltown.
In 1A, on the girls' side, non-ranked Collins Maxwell over 13 Grandview Christian. 1A boys, non-ranked St. Albert over number 11 Tri-Center by 3. That was a pretty big upset. I felt good about Tri-Center.
Me too.
St. Albert, though, comes over and knocks off Tri-Center. In the 3A girls, it was non-ranked Washington over number 4 Fort Madison by 1 point. This one I'm not as shocked about, honestly, because this is that veteran Washington team that we've been tracking for 3 or 4 years when they were all freshmen. And they put it together on one day here. Pretty exciting stuff for them.
Yeah, I got to see it in person, and both looked good from the start. You could tell it was going to be really close. Even Winterset was ranked below them and moved on. Pella looked incredible. That's another conversation coming up. But when it came down to 1 point between the two, you feel for Fort Madison on a day like that. But big credit to Washington for going out and getting it. They definitely earned it on Wednesday.
And then in 3A on the boys' side, number 16 Assumption over Epworth West Dubuque at number 14. We talked about that one going to be a close one. Ended up 26 points with a shortened West Dubuque lineup, missing a couple runners there from the final score. State meet preview. Here we go. 1A girls will start in Class 1A. And the defending champions are in the race, Madrid, coming off a 2023 state championship. They also won their state qualifying meet out at Central Springs. Caitlin Branderhorst won that meet. Madrid, where are you at with Madrid right now? Feel good about them?
Yes. I think full strength, they're right there with Earlham. On paper, we've seen it throughout the season. So, I think they're still right in the mix. We'll find out shortly, but I think they're definitely right in the mix.
Well, their arch nemesis, the Earlham Cardinals, won the Pleasantville state qualifying meet site with a very good score of 28 points. 15-second spread, 1-4, led by veteran runner Mackenzie Harger. Now remember, they've got that 14-point head-to-head over Madrid at the WCAC conference meet. Earlham probably comes into this one ranked number 1. Obviously, we did not have rankings last week by the IATC, but I would say Earlham is number 1 right now, Madrid at 2. Not saying that's our picks,
Right.
but if we were to have rankings last week.
I think that's fair, yes.
South Winneshiek came in number 3. They're going to take a drop here.
Yep.
Runner-up at last year's state meet, second at the Northwind qualifier. And Kyle, what we didn't talk about is they almost didn't make the state meet. They beat Cascade West Dubuque by only 5 to secure that second spot. Just almost a disastrous day for Southwind.
Man, yeah, I mentioned a little bit ago, but definitely did not see that coming into the meet. I thought, they weren't going to, smoke everybody, but I thought they would have been won pretty comfortably in that meet. And so that's a big, I don't want to say wake-up call going into this week, because maybe they're not in that podium conversation. It's hard to, 1A is hard to tell with how spread out these teams are. They don't race each other, whereas 3A, 4A, you definitely see these teams go up against each other more, or there's more common opponents. We still don't know. This is one example to know if this is what this Southwind team is, but we will find out on Saturday.
A couple other contenders to note: English Valleys, the winners of the Iowa City-Regina region. Anna Lures won that region. Another really solid 1-5 lineup out of a team there in English Valleys. They've been up and down this year, but when they're on, they're a podium team, Kyle. If they all run well on the same day, and you don't know, they might have had some kids miss for other reasons throughout the year, which one kid missing in 1A really impacts the lineup. So
it does. I think even the Williamsburg we were at with them,
they were missing
some. So getting them ready for the postseason.
And then Trainer, first in Central Decatur. How about this? A 1 minute 8-second spread, 1-5. The only hold up on Trainer is they just don't have that low stick. But Kyle, we've been doing this together for 5 years. I don't think I've seen a 1A school with about a minute spread, 1-5. Very impressive at this level,
right?
Competing, in the top 5,
right? Yeah, and if the key there is to pack it in. The key is to not have someone getting 80, 90 points. It's to pack it in. How many can you get in the 40s, 50s, and really pack in those points to get you as close as you can to that podium hunt.
Also, watch out for Alta Aurelia, the winners of the Holstein region, taking down another team to watch, Sioux Central, by 2. What a terrific region this one was. I mean, by far the most contested of all of them, probably from the top standpoint. And these two teams are both very good. And Alta Aurelia with Nora Peterson as that low stick is an advantage for them, I think, going into this state meet. So, anything else to add before we throw a little spreadsheet up on the screen?
No, I got nothing there. You hit on it pretty well. I know, and while he's pulling this up, I don't think, just so people know, we're not going to be able to dive in as extensively as we have in the past with going.
We can't be on here for 3 hours.
Correct. So, I do feel bad, especially probably the individual races aren't going to get talked about as much, or who's in podium contention in the individual races, but just with the time constraints we have, it's just not possible. So we'll give you everything we got here, but up on the screen there, this is the computer.
1A girls. So, are we underneath the black line?
We're above it.
Okay, perfect. So, James Mills of CrossCountryRatings.com sent us this. This is the most up-to-date predictions. And Joel, you can scroll down. You got the team predictions and percents on the screen. You've got your individual places down there. And then don't we have a team score too? Oh, it's lagging. That's okay. People can look at it. This is not public information, by the way, on CrossCountryRatings.com, because he took out putting them all in one with girls and boys. So this is all separated out. Rankings. So, with that being said, while they work on this, let's make our 3 picks.
Let's do it.
Kyle, you're up first. Your top 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Top 3, 1, 2, and 3. Go back to page 1 of the script here. Top 3, 3-1.
3-1.
3-1. 3, I got English Valleys. I think they find a way to get up on the podium. 2, I think Madrid gives them a good run, but I think just short. I'm talking like this could be a tiebreaker, 2-3 points. Like this
Like
is
89-91.
this exactly. This is going to be crazy. But I'm going to go the Cardinals of Earlham for the 1A girls individual championship.
We want to throw those picks on there. Well, I'll do mine first, then we'll throw them on. Do you think the winning team breaks 100? I don't think they do this year. Last year, Earlham won this meet with, as I pull it up, 97. I don't think we see anyone under 100 this year. I think it's going to be under 115 to win this 1A girls meet. And my 3 picks. In third place, the Trainer Cardinals. Second place, the Earlham Cardinals. And the winner with 113 points, Madrid Tigers, defending their championship. It's been an up and down year for Madrid. It hasn't been smooth. They've had some girls in and out of the lineup. And there's our 3 picks on the screen. Kyle, your surprise team. Now, Kyle cheated on the rules for the surprise pick because he says the surprise pick winner is determined by the most places past their current ranking.
Yep.
So my question, well, of course, so Kyle picked all of the non-ranked teams.
I did not.
That made the state meet. So are we going from the rankings before the qualifying meet or the ones that come out tomorrow?
I was going to say week 8, but we can do tomorrow's too.
Yeah, we're doing tomorrow's.
Fine.
Because you cheated. You picked all the teams outside the top 15, so of course they're going to score better.
A few I did, but... Well, yeah, but then they just get put in at 15 or 16. It's not like they're 19.
Well, yeah, but I picked like Alta Aurelia, who's 7th or 8th.
Right.
As a surprise.
You got to play the game.
Okay.
You got to know. Yeah.
So there's our surprises. Alta Aurelia for me, I don't think these 3 teams are English. I think someone could come in and win out of that's not on these 3.
Right. Yeah. Trainer, Linville, Sully, maybe.
Alta.
Martinsdale, St. Mary's. And they might not be able to upset Earlham, Madrid, but those are definitely teams that could find their way to the podium.
And then you want to talk about the individual race? This is a lock for you, correct?
Yes. Yep. This is a lock for me.
There's no locks for individuals, just teams.
Yes. And, yeah, your surprise team's Alta. Mine's Makokata Valley.
Yep.
You're saying there's only locks for teams?
Yes.
Okay. Fair. Darn. I locked up a lot of individuals. But it is I think it's a 2-person race, and then not that they'll need a second cart for the rest of the field, but I think there's 2 that really stand out. One is Nora Peterson of Alta Aurelia. I want to say her only losses on the year might be to Lily Denton and maybe Sonderman. She doesn't have many losses.
And she was down at Pella for Heartland, too. She's ran a good schedule.
She has, yep. But I do think Lily Denton has just been on another level this year for St. Albert, undefeated, and a dominant year. Like, she hasn't really been challenged too much outside of maybe Sonderman, extensively. But my 1A pick is Lily Denton of St. Albert, and if I could lock it, I would lock it.
Well, we can do locks. That's fine.
It's up to you.
So I'll lock Lily Denton up as well for the state title. Now, the one thing with her, she never ran at the state meet. I'm going to go back. Did we make a call on the podcast last year to St. Albert's? We didn't actually call them, but we were looking at the way too early rankings, and we're like, this Lily Denton's tremendous at track, but she doesn't run cross country. Didn't we talk about her?
Well, yeah. Well, she was top 3 in the 3K,
and we were like, how does she not run cross country? Maybe they heard us.
Because I think you were right. I think it was our surprise person of the year or breakout star, and we had no idea if she actually ran cross country or not. So we spoke it into existence. Look at us go.
Joel, can you read the top 3 teams in the 1A girls from that spreadsheet?
Yes.
I can't even find it. I've got like 10 spreadsheets open.
Got
in the scoring with the numbers.
Yep. So it's got Earlham with 120 points, Madrid with 134, and Trainer with 150.
Oh, okay. And who's fourth?
Alta Aurelia with 175.
Okay.
And it's close. Like 3 through 10 there is
I got to find that spreadsheet.
all pretty close.
All right, let's go to the boys. And how we're doing this tonight, I'll introduce the teams, and Kyle and I will go back and forth. And Kyle's focused more on the individual race, and we'll break that down. That's how we kind of split up everything. So, Lake Mills, the defending state champions. We had Coach Van Rokel on. Nothing is really slowing them down right now.
Do you want to put the computer up while we talk about it?
Let's do that. Then you guys can put the screen up. They won the Central Springs region. Got beat at the conference meet, but obviously most of those schools are a class above them. I think they're a clear favorite here, Kyle. And it is a lock of mine. Lake Mills boys is a lock for me. And I don't know if I put the locks on there, but we'll just need to mark that.
Yep.
Ogden, 13th last year at the state meet. So look at the year they've had. They come in number 2. They won the Ridgeview region. Woodbine.
And they've improved every week on the
man.
year. You know, from when we saw them at Johnston, like they looked pretty good then, but just how they've progressed throughout the season's been pretty dang impressive.
They are running very well, and they have not had a bad meet.
No.
Like, some teams just naturally kind of slump.
Yep.
Ogden's been really good all year. Woodbine, how about this for a stat? They're seeking their first state championship since 1986 and 87 when they went back-to-back. And they've been really good here the last 5 years. So Woodbine definitely in the mix here for a trophy. They'd have to have an extraordinary performance to knock off Lake Mills, but they're in the discussion. Ankeny Christian, a team that you followed a little bit this year, Kyle, comes in at number 4. And then at number 5 here on the list is Earlham. And then you've got Danville and the sneaky Riverside team who maybe, has kind of flown under the radar, didn't win the region, but I don't think that necessarily counts them out for a trophy here this weekend.
No, they had probably the toughest site with Woodbine.
And it was 31-28.
Right. 3 points.
This is a really good Riverside team.
Right. In a bigger field, that might change things because I think them and Woodbine have battled throughout the year. I think Riverside actually beat them
a couple times. It wasn't like
early in the season.
I think it was now like 50-50, 2-2.
Yeah, and then Woodbine got them back at the end there. But
there we go on the screen. So what are you thinking here, Kyle? Are you locking up Lake Mills?
I'm locking up Lake Mills.
Okay.
And you can see it there. It's just going to be tough to beat as long as their 5 can stay, about that 50 range. I think they're going to be very tough to beat with just that impressive 1 through 3. Very, very tough to beat. Behind them, I'm going to go Woodbine at 3rd, Ogden 2nd, so then Lake Mills 1st.
Yeah, I just don't see a way for anyone to beat Lake Mills. My picks are going to go in this order, 3-1. I've got Ogden at 3rd, and like I said, just a terrific year for Ogden. They've been really solid from start to finish. Jude Benbow, name we haven't said this year on the podcast, has been strong for them. They're led by 2 seniors along with Caden Lerdahl. Those guys, I think, will bring a trophy back to Ogden. My second place team, Woodbine. And I think they're going to be a solid second here. This is a really good team. Gunnar Wagner leading their squad, and then Lake Mills to win. Sleeper pick for me. Who did I have down, Kyle? I can't.
Riverside.
There we go. Riverside, yes. And this is a Riverside team that I think could get 3rd. But I'm going to put them in as a sleeper. And you've got... Yeah, you
St. Edmund.
They're not ranked.
They were not. But, okay, it's also like, even if they're not ranked, most people are going to think they're going to finish like 13, 14.
So you got them finishing 7th.
I think they finished 7th.
All right. You're right. Riverside is not a great sleeper pick in this situation.
I think what I can't remember what they're ranked. Maybe 5, 6.
Because they're
but-
seventh. Let me think.
Right. I still think they are because look at the
Seventh.
They're still projected on the computer to finish 3rd, ranked 7th.
Got second in their qualifier.
I think that's totally fair.
Cool. In an individual race, this is a good one. I'm really excited for this. I think there's 3 kids here that have a legitimate shot. Definitely no lock here in 1A.
No, I don't think so. Lock-wise, I get the other races, Zuber and Merrick, Dunham and Nauman. Like, there's those high-profile matchups, but this is as good as it can get for Class 1A. You got Matthew Shaw of Maquoketa Valley, maybe the favorite coming into the season. He's actually only got 4 wins on the year, so he's raced a tough schedule. So I think he's prepared for this week. You got Gage High of English Valleys. His only loss at Wartburg, he got 10th, and then he's lost to Olberding at Williamsburg of Mount Vernon Lisbon, and then he got beat by the Pella crew and got 4th, so early in the year. But been on a roll since. And then Gavin Grunhove, North Iowa Buffalo Center. He has not lost this year, undefeated on the season. So
Undefeated, wow.
I do think he might be the slight favorite going in. These are probably the 3 that could win it, and then throw in Gunnar Wagner of Woodbine also in the mix there too. But I do think it's going to come down to these 3 on Saturday.
And who are you going with?
I'm going to go Grunhove. If he hasn't lost yet, I'm going to stick to the hot hand. Again, I think any of those 2 guys could win it as well, but I'm going to go Grunhove.
And I am going to do the same. Gavin Grunhove, no lock here. And there's our 1A picks on the screen. Hey, Joel, can you read the top 5 predicted individuals? Do you have that on there? Uh-oh, he's going weird sound. Promise you that's not Joel's voice.
I can get it here. I have it here too.
I can't find the spreadsheet.
Top 5 boys you want
Yeah.
for 1A. First, Lake Mills 87.
No, the individuals.
Oh, individual. Sorry.
Try your audio again.
First, they have Gavin Grunhove, then Gage Henne, Matthew Shaw, Hayden Thompson.
Oh, Hayden Thompson. Lake Mills.
Jackson Shacklet of Danville, and then Anthony Vallis.
Jackson Shacklet of Danville's had a great year, too.
St. Edmunds.
Vallis of St. Ed's. Okay. Yeah, I think those 3 separate. Like you said, Kyle. I think there'll be a second pack forming. Cool. Good stuff. All right, let's go to 2A girls. And in this race, we have no defending team champion because Des Moines Christian's in Class 3A. So, we'll start with the top returning team from last year in this class, the Van Meter Bulldogs, and they happen to come in number 1 to this meet, runner-up last year. They won at Red Oak with 22 points over PCM. Laura Streck, she's running really well right now, and she's raised her level the last month. Kind of in the pack a little bit at the early season meets. Kyle, she's dominating now. Some of these races they've been in. 13th last year individually was Streck. Also, they've got Emma McCoy, who was 18th last year. So 2 top 20 runners returning. They've had a really solid year at Van Meter. Is this the best Van Meter team they've had? I don't think it is, but I do think this is a really good team that can definitely come home with the state title.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think their Van Meter teams of past may have had tougher competition, especially Des Moines Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just, and you see it on the screen there, 3 in the top 9.
Look at that.
It's just crazy that doesn't lock you up by any means, You can see on the screen there, they're still winning by 8. The next 2 are tied at 118 on the forecast, but I agree with you that still the favorite on paper going in.
Next up at number 2, coming into the meet is Mid Prairie, 4th a year ago. The Pella Christian state qualifying meet champions by 31 over Pella Christian. Brooklyn Stutzman leads Mid Prairie. She was the runner-up down there at Pella Christian. And they have a nice 6 runners. It's a team that doesn't drop off much, 1 to 6. You're always a fan of that extra depth in case there would be a mishap someday. This is a team that probably them and Forest City have the most depth of the 2A schools. And Unity Christian's very deep as well. So these next 3 teams, Van Meter does not have the margin for error.
Correct.
Forest City, the Indians, come in ranked number 3, 3rd in the state qualifying meet, 18 back from Sumner Fred, who had a great day. No Bethany Warren, though, and that's a big deal for Forest City. What, she didn't hear your airplane. Get on the airplane.
They told when they were on. They said the plane was booked. Remember when Coach Wolfram was
I hope
on?
she's okay.
So maybe they just thought they didn't need her, and
they didn't need her.
Right.
They were well clear of 4th place. But Bethany Warren hopefully gets back in the lineup for them. She was 14th last year on the deck. Unity Christian, 6th a year ago. They won up in Orange City. Addison Liston and Katie Young went 1-2. They've got 2 nice young freshman runners running in the 3 and 4 spots. Very good team at number 4. Tipton at 5. Winners at Monticello by 3 over Denver. Noel Steinis will take the start line for the first time for Tipton at the state meet. Last year running for Cal Wheat. Laura Owen, their second runner for Tipton. And that is about where I drew the line. I know the computer has some other thoughts there. Hudson in the mix at 192. Sumner Fred at 192. Anything else before we go to the predictions?
Maybe just Denver in that mix. They've competed pretty well. Maybe not the most consistent team, but definitely dangerous enough to be in the conversation here for a top 5 finish.
We lost the screen. There it is. We were looking at a bridge. Think everyone could see the bridge?
Confirmed. Bethany went to volleyball. Sounds like she'll be back.
All right. Okay. Pick time. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go 3-1 in 3rd place. The bronze trophy, Forest City, with Bethany Warren back in the lineup. Nice call by Coach Wolfram to not run her. I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Not have to stress. Volleyball team. Hopefully they won with her staying back. Unity Christian, runner-up for me. And winning the state meet, Van Meter. My surprise team, the PCM Mustangs. Not a team we've mentioned a lot on the podcast. But they, Kyle, have a great 1-4 pack. And this, again, like 1A, is going to be a high-scoring meet. No one's scoring under 100 here in this state meet, as you can see on the screen.
Yep.
And they do have Van Meter at 108. But in a high-scoring meet, you put 4 runners at the middle of the road there, 20 to 30th, and all of a sudden you're up to 80 to 100 points, and you just got to score 1 more runner, and you right there in the mix for a trophy.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. We got actually only one of the same teams. Van Meter is our same pick at state champions. I have Tipton 3 and Mid Prairie 2. Very, very close, I think, between Van Meter and Mid Prairie. 7-8 points will be my guess there. Very, very close. My surprise team, Sumner Fredericksburg. We ranked 9th in week 8. I'll put them at 5.
You've really been riding Tipton, hoping they haven't come through completely for you this year. You're a big Tipton fan.
Yeah, I think this is the day they put it all together. You know, they've shown signs of it this year, just not 100% put it together yet. And I think Saturday is the day that they will do that.
There you go. Pumping them up with confidence. I like it.
Speak it into existence.
All right. Anything else there? I think this is going to be a great meet. Definitely no locks here. This is going to come down to every point. Could be one of those that you like to call a 2 to 3 pointer, and we'll see what happens.
I think there's a lot of teams here that could trophy.
Oh yeah.
You named them: Denver, Sumner, Fred, Waukon, Pella Christian, Hudson, PCM. You name it. There's just so many teams in addition to what you and I have both said on our picks. Ooh, that could have been dangerous.
Almost lost the Coke. All right.
Individual race.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, we do have, we'll start kind of bottom and work up here. Amelia Condon of Union. She's only got 3 losses on the year to Noelle Steinis, Isabel Harden, and Nakia Olivier. So look for her to be dangerously in the mix here. I think Addison Liston of Unity Christian is another sneaky pick. Alyssa Richmond of Manson Northwest Webster was probably the number 2 pick on paper coming into the season. She is only her only losses on the year, I believe, are up at Fort Dodge with the big 4A meet, and then to Lily Denton and Nora Peterson. So look for her to be in the mix here. McKenna Montgomery of Albia, she was runner-up to Streck at the state qualifying meet by 28 seconds, who is next on the list, probably second on paper coming into this meet, depending on where Richmond's at. Laura Streck, her only losses on the year are Farabee, Brenneman, Messerly, and Jordan Brown.
Some good research.
Yeah, so pretty tough. And thank you, James. Like, it's so easy to search by runner, and you can pull up their meets and look at stuff quick. So big thank you to James for that. And then going for her 4th title, first in Class 2A, undefeated on the season, Noelle Steinis of Tipton. Probably the favorite coming in. We'll see if she can get it done and be in some elite company this week.
And if we remember from Bloomer Trivia a few weeks ago, the only other Iowa high school girl to win 4 was Rebecca Topham of Griswold.
Yep, there's a few at 3, but and the boys don't have any, but it's...
Yeah, they do. There's a guy from Mason City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I swear I looked it up years ago and there wasn't one.
When Joel and I were looking for that trivia that we're going to be doing here real shortly to win another yellow hat, I did see a Mason City athlete, 4 boys titles.
Wow. I missed that one.
Have Cooper Steeples look that up. Make sure we're right.
You got a job, Coop.
All right. Oh, this is going to be a great race. I think Steinis wins this one pretty easily, but Laura Streck's had a great year. And there's our picks on the screen. And Steinis is a lock for both of us, correct? Did you have that down?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I do think it'll be tougher than people think. I don't think it's going to be easy breezy. I think she's definitely...
For the first couple miles?
She's going to have to earn it. I'm going to say half mile to go. There's still someone with her.
All right. You're not going to want to miss this 2A girls meet. And to segue to the craziest class in gender, we go to the 2A boys. This took me an hour to prepare for the 2A boys. I have never seen anything like this. You could literally draw out of a hat probably 7 for sure teams and possibly 8 or 9 that could win the state meet. Not just get a trophy, but win the state meet. I'm really excited to see what the computer projection has coming up here in a little bit. But let's start with the rankings that the IATC had going into these meet. And that begins with Mid-Prairie, the Golden Hawks, 10th from last year. Kyle, what's exciting about this is that a lot of these teams didn't have success last year, or if they did, it was just we made it to the state meet. We weren't competing for anything. And that shows how much things can change in a year. If you work hard, kids have a great offseason. Turnover in the class obviously helps with that. Des Moines Christian leaving helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to hear a lot of these teams, some of them didn't even make it last year.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I have about 6 teams that can win it, so a few less than you.
I have 7.
Okay, 1 less than you.
Yep.
But this is going to be the team race of the week, I think. You can see it on the screen there. 123, 1, 2.
Look at how many teams are under 200. Those are all, in my opinion, able to win. How many are under 200?
Wow. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Nine.
9. 9 teams under 100. Yeah. And this is one where you run it 10 times, you're going to have a different winner each time. So,
Joel, who do you like out of this mess of teams?
Probably Okoboji.
Ooh, I like that pick. It's a sneaky pick. We're going to get to Okoboji in a second, but Joel, that doesn't surprise me that Joel goes with Okoboji after his track record of picks. But,
dark horse.
all right, let's go back to the Golden Hawks. Winners at Pella Christian, Emmett Schwartzendruber, the defending state champion. Preston Utsi running really well. He was third at that state qualifier, and then Jace Yoder, a really good threesome for the Golden Hawks. Denver coming in number 2. By the way, these rankings will look completely different tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I need to say their number. I'm just going to say the team. They won at Monticello by 9 over Wakan, a non-qualifier last year. Miles Mathis, Jesse Gomez, the freshman, and Caden Knobloch, another really formidable 3. They match up very similar to Mid-Prairie. I don't know if they race this year, Kyle, but these two teams match up very, very similar. Trying to see on the screen where they, 5 and 8, 10, and Mid-Prairie with a head-to-head at Wartburg by 22 points over Denver. Olwine, the Huskies of Olwine, 13th last year. They won their own region by 21 over Forest City. They're, of course, led by Connell Sauser, my preseason pick to win the 2A title. I'm anxious to see what you have Connell finishing. And he just edged out the other day, by the way, a new name to the Exchange Zone, Nathan Ahern of Crestwood.
Welcome to the zone.
Holy cow, what a breakout race for Nathan Ahern. Keyshawn Williams, a really good number 2 for Olwine. They put 4 guys, Kyle, in front of Forest City's number 2. That's not easy to do. That's a good Forest City team. Unity Christian, 3rd last year. This is the top returning team in this mix of teams, other than Okoboji, which we'll get to. They put 4, wrong line. They lost to Spirit Lake in Orange City by 1 point. Very deep team. Ethan Wynia and Elijah Schruers lead their squad. Spirit Lake, the team that beat Unity by 1 in Orange City. They went 1-3-4 with Hughes, Dirks, and Hungerford. How about Hungerford getting that close to Dietrich Dirks? Where will their 4 and 5 finish, Kyle, I think is the big question mark. As you can see where they got, 32 and 75.
Yeah. 75's a lot,
But if you go 1-3.
that helps a ton, too. They just got to keep that 5 as close as they can to their 4, and I think they have a great shot to win it.
Sheraton, 5th a year ago, winners in Red Oak. I heard that Red Oak course was really difficult, by the way. I got an email about that. They doubled up Okoboji. Who would ever have guessed this?
No.
And that's the wild journey in Class 2A on the boys' side that you're going to get. This team, top to bottom, has improved so much this year. I mean, their 5 at the start of the year was way out of it. And now they've closed the gap enough to just be able to be that competitive.
Very impressive. I guess I should have just went and looked back preseason what they were, but
I don't think they were in the top 10 preseason.
I don't think
by
so
IATC. Okoboji. This is a head-scratching situation here, Kyle. Let's go back 2 weeks. They win the Siouxland Conference in what looked like a state championship performance. Took care of that conference. That has Spirit Lake and Unity Christian in it. Then Unity Christian holds a little small meet on the weekend after the conference meet. Trig Himdahl didn't run. Then this past week, it was just not the Okoboji team we saw 2 weeks ago. I have no idea. Joel likes them, but I have no idea. Kyle, if they show up and run well, they'll win. I think they'll win.
I think they absolutely have a shot.
But they just haven't done it enough to have a lot of confidence in it.
No, maybe not consistent this year.
But they weren't last year either.
Right, and do need to take into consideration they had a pretty long drive.
3.5 hours.
3 hours, 40 minutes. I think I opened Twitter at like 10 a.m. and they were on the road, and I was like, holy smokes. Maybe not quite that early, but still. Long drive for them, a little bit shorter to Fort Dodge this week. So we'll see. Hopefully they can get it right, because if they can, they're gonna add to an even already fun mix.
Evan Osler, the second top returner in 2A behind Schwarzenegger, third a year ago for Bogie. Also in the mix here, Forest City. I think they have a very good team. Where their pack sets up will be definitely a big key to their chances. So, with that being said, did we forget any contenders?
I think we got them all there.
Okay, you go ahead and go first here with your teams.
Trying to make sure we didn't miss anybody. No, I don't think we missed anybody. Pretty much named the whole field.
We've been named half of it.
So, my picks, I do think that there's 6 teams that could win this meet. I've seen Coach Horton at Sheraton. He's trying to speak the state championship into existence. I saw the legendary Michael Fish of Owine talking to his Owine Huskies to get that their team could be in the state champ or could be state champions. I'm gonna go Mid Prairie 3, Spirit Lake 2, and Owine Huskies to win in a very, very close race, 1 through 9, but I think 1 through 6 are even closer.
All right, I like that. I'm going to go with Spirit Lake at 3. I'm actually going to start on the outside of top 3. Mid Prairie at 5, Bogie at 4, Spirit Lake at 3, Owine at 2, and Unity Christian. They ran at Fort Dodge earlier this year. I like that they did that. I think they replicate it this year, and they go down and win the state meet.
We should do like a horse racing exacta for the 2A boys, and you can get some extra bonus points.
Wow.
For picking 9 on down.
How's the chat doing? I can't see it.
It's gotten a little quieter.
A little quieter?
I think some of the Bondurant boys went to bed.
Okay. Surprise team for me, Garner Hayfield Ventura, GHV. They're as good as anyone, numbers 1 to 3. Zach Flatibo, obviously, as you see on the screen there for GHV, is definitely in the top 5 mix. They've been so close, Kyle, to pulling off several upsets this year, major upsets. And this is another team that we didn't mention in the state title conversation, but they are very good and could get into a trophy position. I don't know if they can win it, but if things go really well 1 to 3, they might be in the mix to bring home a trophy. So they're my sleeper.
I think you're right. I guess I should mention my sleeper. I have Spirit Lake as my sleeper. Well, they're currently ranked 8th,
and they might be ranked 1 tomorrow.
They could be. I might have to redo my sleeper pick tomorrow, I guess.
Should he be allowed to redo after this?
Judge Joel.
I'll allow it.
Oh my gosh. He manipulates the whole system. All right.
Individual race,
just like the team.
I think wide open. I'm gonna start with the defending state champ Emmett Schwarzenegger. I don't think many people thought he was going to win last year, and ended up winning the Class 2A race a year ago. So Schwarzenegger of Mid Prairie
over Neil Pinter of Denver.
That's right. Jesse Gomez of Denver, the freshman, if he can get back to his early season ways, no, without question, he'll be in the mix. Kyle Wagner of Clarinda, just because the name he's in the mix, but he just beat Evan Ostler by 37 seconds. Zach Flatibo, you've talked about him from Garner Hayfield Ventura. He's got a lot of runner-up finishes on the year. Connell Sauser, your guy of Owine, always in the mix. But I think it's going to come down to 2 guys, Brandon Hughes of Spirit Lake and Emerson Vokes of Grundy Center. Vokes just beat Schwarzenegger by 28 seconds. His only losses on the year are Nauman and Merrick. And then Brandon Hughes, his only Iowa loss is Kuma Gutema of Sioux City North, and he just beat Flatibo by 9 seconds. So those are the guys that I think are going to be in the mix. You can see on the board there, definitely a few more you could add into the mix. All the way down there to Evan Ostler, Jesse Gomez, but we will see.
And we're both going with Emerson Vokes, and we both have him as a lock.
All right, I didn't know if you would lock that one or not. Yeah, I think he is the best on.
And we've said that since early season.
Yep, I think Hughes will give him a run, without question. But I think it's Vokes, and yep, we're gonna lock that one up.
Good. All right, we're at the halfway point, and we're ready for Bloomer Trivia. A chance to win a yellow hat. Take it away, Joel.
The question is, within the 4-class system, which 4A boys team champion has the lowest state meet score?
Oh, that's a great find. I remember this team. Very good team. And I think the best team in state history. Maybe some would argue that. Modern day state history.
Ooh, over that year when Dowling had like 5 guys under 1530 or something. It was something crazy like that.
Well, but they didn't score the lowest total. Now you're making me nervous. Did we miss it?
I don't think so. No, I think Dowling that year definitely had probably more competition, I would say. The guesses right now are Dowling and Waukon. Not correct.
Keep in mind, 4A modern 4-class system, which I think went to 4 classes in the early 2000s, right around the turn of the century. Did we get a winner?
No winner yet, but we do have Tony Anania is back.
All right. Good to have you back, Tony.
Just in time for 3A and 4A.
All right. So, there's our trivia question. If you get it right, we'll send you a yellow hat. I'm sending some out this week. Let's go to 3A.
Oh, we got the winner.
And we got a winner.
Look at that. You got it, Joel? Yep. All right.
What do we got, Joel?
The winner is Rob Hammond with Roosevelt,
Des
2003.
Moines Roosevelt.
Just edged out Nathaniel Brandt by, that had to have been less than a couple seconds.
With a score of 45 points.
Rob Hammond. Okay. I'm trying to pull up the results from that meet to reminisce on the excellent team that Roosevelt had. And here we go. The 4A boys state meet results from 2003. Come on,
And
internet.
Brandt even got the year and the score.
Who's
He was second, but
maybe we should give it to Nathaniel Brandt. Because Rob, we'll give you a hat for all your work with everything you do for the IATC. Let's give it to Nathaniel Brandt. That's impressive.
watch, he was gonna be on that team or something.
So, Roosevelt put 3 in the top 4 with John Thomas, Kyle Ewell. John Thomas went to Oregon. Kyle Ewell went to Iowa State. And Austin Williamson was 4th, 15-18, 15-19, 15-33. And then they finished out with Tom Waters and Jeremiah Donga, all in the top 22 in Class 4A. So there you go. And that was Coach Steve Brown of now the Adel girls team.
That's crazy.
Yep. So send your address to my email, bdewey@waukeeschools.org, and we'll get you a hat. And Rob, I know where to find you. I'll get you a hat as well.
He says give it to Nathaniel.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's go to 3A. 3A and 4A, we're moving pretty good here, Kyle. 2A boys took a little long, but we knew that would happen. We'll go to 3A girls, and we'll start with the number 1 ranked team in Class 3A. The unanimous state championship pick probably of anyone. According to James's website, crosscountryratings.com, they have a 100% chance to win.
Well, their points was like 28 or something, wasn't it?
I'm setting the over-under at 36. That's going to be next year on the show. We're going to have point spreads going into some of these meets.
That can be Cooper's job after he graduates.
36 is the number
All right.
for Pella.
Computer's got 31.
Okay.
But I don't know if that has Schneider or not, because I believe she's out.
So they're looking for the program's 3rd state championship. That would be 3 in a row. They won the Pella region with 18 points, and they're working on an undefeated season. The most points they've scored in a meet this year is 41. Now, we've, in the 5 years of the podcast with us and the 2 additional years that I did before you joined, we have never talked about a point total as the only conversation in the class. We're doing that because we just don't feel like that's the only thing they're competing against is the point total.
Right. They have bigger things at stake. NXR, all that fun stuff. So, this is without question.
Are you locking them up? I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Joel, you locking them up?
No.
Judge Joel. Oh man. Oh my goodness. No, and I got to see them in person for the first time. I was sending their coaches some Twitter banter throughout the season to quit dodging us. But
Did they get you?
Yeah, they got us.
Okay.
But
I think they'd get everybody.
I do think so. I wish it'd be so fun to see them go up,
I do think PV and Johnston, if James is listening still, can you run us a new updated number of those 3 in a triangular?
I think it'd be, or just put Pella in the 4A race. I think that'd be a fair, fun thing to do.
We'll see.
But is this the best non-4A team you've seen in?
Oh yeah,
like
not even close. I mean, yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
this is one of the best teams maybe ever.
And Marissa is just it was a joy to watch her in person. If you get the chance, I encourage everyone to get to Fort Dodge. Yes, she's only a junior, but she's something special to watch.
Yes. Mount Vernon Lisbon coming in at number 2. 1 second. I'm trying to pull something up here. Got a freeze in the computer. A little shaky tonight down here on the internet. Notice since middle of the season, the stream has been flawless. We've been plugging into a landline. But the Wi-Fi is a little shaky. What I was looking up, Farabee ran 16:36. Is that correct?
Yeah, 37, I think, yeah.
That would have placed
9th
in the boys' race.
Yep.
Okay.
I think she would have made varsity on Pella's boys' team.
Wow.
She's the real deal. She is. I don't know. I don't think she was going 100% either.
Jeez. I hope she saves it for what's ahead. I mean, get after it this week, but yeah, she's definitely eyeing that state meet record by Noe. All right, Mount Vernon Lisbon, a really good team. State qualifying champs at Waverly. Evelyn Moeller, the individual champ. Kyle, this is a team that is running so well and a very good team. This is a really, really good 3A school. I think Moeller will be in the conversation for 3rd with a big group that you'll probably talk about. Kirsten Swartz having a great year. Edith Dawson, they're a tremendous 2-3 combo. Clear second best team. I don't know about these rankings here, and maybe I'll eat this next week, but I think it's Pella clear number 1, Mount Vernon a clear 2, and then a pack of 3, 4, 5 type of deal. I don't know. What do you think?
Exact same boat as you right there.
Okay. Glenwood, They win out at Harlan 59-71 over the Cyclones. They have been without their usual number 5 for 3 weeks. Not sure if people have caught that, but Glenwood has not had their usual number 5 runner. Grace Berglund will be in the mix there as well for that third place spot. Solon, they win at home by 16 over a really good Marion squad. Sydney D, she was third in that race. She's put together a really good season. 18th last year, so a chance to get on the deck. And then we'll have a battle for 5th between Sioux Center, Harlan, and Marion. All 3 teams very similar. I like Sioux Center probably to be in that top 5 with Audrina Jones continuing to come back and run better and better. Team-wise, anything else before we make our picks?
Nope, nothing.
I'm surprised how high Winterset is on this list.
High as in good or
Yeah.
high as in bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely losing their number 5 2 weeks ago.
With I wonder if that's I'm sure that is including that.
I don't think it is.
Okay. But still, their 5th is scoring at 100, so it probably is including that.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. They're super solid 1 through 4. They just. And I saw it at Pella this week. It was just keep that 5 as close as you can to that 4 and hold on. So yeah, I think that's right about where they belong. Nice job, James.
All right, we ready? It's too bad about Des Moines Christian too.
Right.
They definitely would have been in this conversation without the injury to Arizon.
Right. I mean, that's a 90, not 90-point swing.
I mean, just 3 weeks ago, I had them at the number 2 spot, if you remember that.
Right. Yeah, I was really high on them too up until that injury. And when you lose your one, it's massive.
Massive.
It's moving them out of the podium conversation down to 11, 12.
All right, you're on the clock, Kyle. Are you making picks in 3A?
I will this week. I think it's fine. If anyone
we could turn it over to Joel.
It might get scary. Yeah, I'll make picks. I think it's fine this week. Not that we're not in the podium conversation, so I don't think, unless you boys really surprise me in the next couple days, but that'd be sweet if they do. But podium teams, I got number 3 Glenwood, number 2 Mount Vernon Lisbon, and number 1 locking it up. I'm sure you're doing the same, Pella.
Mine are very similar. I'm going with Solon at 3. Just a little bit more experience than Glenwood. Typically always in the top 5. Glenwood's doing great. I just think Solon over Glenwood. MVL and Pella is a lock. My sleeper, the Harlan Cyclones. I think that this is a team that if they run well, put it all together like they have most of the year, they could actually be in contention for that 4th or 3rd spot as well, with Sonderman being a pretty low stick there. And actually, that race between Sonderman and Berglund is big in this meet for the team.
It will be
race.
It will be. Yeah, they're racing for 3rd, but it's going to be huge. Yeah, absolutely.
And LC Brenneman, I'm sure you'll.
Yep.
Elise, I've called her LC. They keep having to email me.
Yeah, I think I'd lock her up at 2nd.
Lock her up. Yep.
My sleeper team is Gilbert. Come in ranked 13th. I think they're just hitting their stride at the right time, and I think they'll finish in the top 8.
I tell you what, the Gilbert, I think we've talked about this in years past. Whoever the guy is who is taking pictures and tweeting for the Gilbert, he's got quite the picture. Have you seen all those pictures that they tweet?
Probably, but
holy cow.
No, there's some programs with some really good digital media. Like, even we're very fortunate. We had 2. It's called Blue Jay Digital. They jumped on the bus with us, went to the meet, filmed, took pictures, nice. And so there's some very good student-led programs out there.
This is like the school district guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not related to the team or even the athletic department because it comes off of the school district account. but he's heavily involved in sports, evidently. It's pretty impressive.
I have seen a guy. I remember seeing him at Ballard. There's a guy in coveralls. He's been my favorite photographer of the year. It looks like he just got done with chores and then comes to the cross-country meet and takes pictures. But whoever that is.
Hey, by the way, don't sleep on Marion.
No.
All right.
That's it.
Ready for the individuals.
That's second sleeper pick. All right, individuals. You talked about one or many of these already, but it is a one-person race without question. But some people, we do want to at least mention some people in the mix. Evelyn Moeller, Mount Vernon, Lisbon. You may know the name Erin Moeller, 2-time Olympic trials qualifier. That is her mom. So really cool of Evelyn there to be in the mix here. Addison Bertrand of Heelan, Ruth Dunham Pella, Grace Bergland of Glenwood, Lindsay Sonderman of Harlan, Elsie Brenneman, Pella. I think if I can do a lock at 2, I'm going to lock her up at 2. And then Marissa Farabee. No one's been close to her at all this season. She is without question a lock to win the 3A girls individual meet. Oh, Essling. I can't forget Essling. Grace Essling, too.
My head is going to explode. Time out. Is it LC or Elise?
LC.
Then I was calling her Elise.
I think so.
Got a lot of names we go through every week.
Sorry.
If Rob could send us a clarification one more time. They've emailed me before. But she is unbelievable. I had a coach email me 2 weeks ago just about her. Not even about Farabee.
Yeah, she's awesome to watch too. And we do have James's computer forecast triangular.
Okay, what do we got?
With Johnston, PV, and Pella.
Okay.
You want to make a guess?
I know that the computer liked Johnston over PV, so I'm going to say Johnston number 1, Pella 2, PV 3.
Incorrect. Pella 1, Johnston 2, PV 3.
Scores.
37, 39, 44. That's why I think it'd be more fun to put them in like the 4A meet. And we do have Rob LC.
LC, probably in all caps. Like you're a dummy. They've told me like 5 times. No, like some of the big states just run duals and triangulars and quads. That's what we should start here. Just go at it with a dual or a triangular.
It would be fun to do that more.
Yeah.
In season, like something different, way to change up the sport a little bit.
All right. So who do you got getting third? That's my question for you.
Glenwood.
No, the individual.
Oh. Let's see.
I'm going Sonderman.
Yep, same.
All right. That was fun.
Very.
3A boys, 3 to go.
3.
From one lock. Oh, there's our picks. Thank you. There you go. Huh? I didn't think you said your individual. Oh, yeah, we said it a long time ago. Farabee. Yep. Thank you. Okay. 3A boys, from one lock to another lock. And this one I didn't think is 100% chance, but it's like 90-something.
I think it was 99.9.
99.9. Gilbert, looking for the program's 5th title in 11 years under Coach Aaron Thomas and back-to-back state titles for the Tigers. Perfect score at a state qualifying meet. That has to be a first, I would guess.
I've never seen it.
Carson Squires wins this one with a 30-second victory over his teammate, who's usually their number 1, Logan Blythe. That makes them even more scary, in my opinion, with that result.
They're scary good. And, you know.
Do we need a triangular with Dowling and Cedar Falls?
Ooh.
With James, if he's still on?
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt James?
I don't think it. I think they're third in that, but.
I don't know. I think it's closer than what you think it is.
I don't, yeah. I mean, and all 3 teams are just insanely impressive, but I've seen them quite a few times this year, and just what Coach Thomas has built is very impressive.
Look at that.
28 points at the state meet.
And the spread I had for this one was actually less than Pella.
Jeez.
No. Excuse me. I have their point. I was doing this on the plan. I think it was at 40. Yeah, I didn't have them as low at 28.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I think it was 40 and Pella girls 36 for the over and under. Joel, do you think Gilbert can compete with Dowling and Cedar Falls? They beat Dowling last year.
I think it depends on the day. I think some days they could, and then another time they couldn't. It's close.
The only thing would be, it only takes one. Like last year, Gilbert got them one time. They don't run a very difficult schedule. Gilbert doesn't. So they're not as battle-tested as those schools are. But like we saw last year at Heartland, just one time.
Right. I think they went up to Fort Dodge, right?
Nope.
Didn't?
Nope.
Maybe that was ADM.
Des Moines Christian. They are coming off of back-to-back state titles in Class 2A. This would be a three-peat if they could pull off the upset of the century. But that'll be a tall task. They won out at Solon the other day with 29 points. This is a 3A state championship caliber team any other year, Kyle. This is a really good Des Moines Christian team. And 10 pass looks great. He was running within about 15 seconds of Nauman. I got a text that said that they went out in like 4:34. Is Nauman on the chat?
I think so, yeah.
Ask him what their mile splits were. See if we can. What were the mile splits, Quentin? Anyways, I heard it was a pretty fun race up front, and then he pulled away. Pella, 3-time state champs. Not in a row. They've won 3 titles on the boys' side, and they won at home with 35 points. The meet you were at, Kanan Dunham, looks really good. Mason Galkey ran a very nice race for Pella as their number 2. I think they match up very well with DMC. However, if the Hagenbergs, the Des Moines Christian brothers, get in front of Pella's number 2, I think it'll be really difficult for Pella to beat Des Moines Christian.
I agree with you 100% on
The
that.
Hagenbergs are really good.
They are.
Have you seen them run?
Yeah, they raced at Ballard. I think they went 1-2 because 10 Pass didn't run that night.
And they've gotten better since Ballard.
I think so too.
Mount Vernon Lisbon, winners in Waverly, 64 points, 8 better than Decorah, 12 ahead of Clear Creek Amana. Both Decorah and CCA, Kyle, are running very well right now. Decorah, my preseason, not championship prediction, but I had them on the podium, right?
I think so, yeah.
And they are right in position to do that again, not again this year. They've been down for a couple years, but they're in the position here to compete for a trophy. All 7 in the top 25 at the state qualifying meet. Garrett C., Grant Zilka will be big for them. I love that they're seniors. This is a very veteran group for Decorah. Clear Creek Amana, 4 points behind Decorah. Isaac Sorensen and Brock Hilsman ran great. Another group of seniors. I love the veteran leadership out of those 2 teams. And then you've got a freshman on that squad in Carson Meskamin, who is 11th. So, Mount Vernon Lisbon with Olberding. Can't forget about him. Where do we want to go here with the picks?
I'll throw in DeWitt. I don't think they haven't had quite the last couple weeks. But from their body of work the entire season, I do think DeWitt is a team that's
I agree.
Strongly in the mix. I'm not going to ruin your sleeper team, so I'll hold off on that one because I think they're due for a big day too. They've ran really impressive on the season. So that's kind of for the podium contenders, I would say it probably is there. And I guess I will say I did have someone come up to me at Pella and said, don't be afraid to talk about your team. Our team's probably not in the podium conversation, but just real quick on this platform, I want to say how proud I am of them. They were 9th at their qualifier a year ago to become state qualifiers now. So they just bought in last November when the season ended. So just really proud of the entire team, all 29 boys that have put in the work and got the Blue Jays to Fort Dodge. So
What do you think of that? Isn't that special?
first text was from him.
Was it?
Yeah.
Hey, I just told him it is so hard when we're trying to turn over a program that fast. The first time you're in contention to get to the state meet. Usually, and I'm sure other coaches can agree with this, usually it doesn't go the way that you think it will go.
Yep.
And I told you that a couple weeks ago. So it's pretty impressive that your guys came through in that manner because
Very.
it's not easy.
It is, and kids have stepped up when one's had an off day, another one steps up, and I won't lie, I felt like throwing up all day.
Oh.
It's nerve-wracking. So
Unless you're Coach Van Rokel of Lake Mills.
Yeah.
She just took the keys and
yeah, no kidding. I got some work to do to join her company.
So yeah, no, that's good, Kyle, and good for the Blue Jays. Let's go to our picks, and we can put those up there now, guys. I don't know if I made my pick yet. You made yours.
Team-wise?
Yeah.
Did
Did you make yours?
3A boys, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I think.
And there's mine on the screen. I'm going with Decorah. Get that third spot.
All right.
Des Moines Christian and Gilbert are locks. Surprise team for me, Kyle. You're probably not surprised I'm saying
Not at all.
Grinnell because this is a scary team. This
think-
is a team that just beat Mount Vernon. They won the WAMAC. I like them.
And they're young, too. I think only one
I think one or two
senior.
seniors. Yeah.
I think their number 4 might be a senior, so they'll be in that podium
And
conversation
they
next
could
year.
get third.
They're sneaky good.
And I've got CCA getting fifth behind Grinnell.
That's a good pick too. There's a lot of good teams
Yeah.
in 3A. Like it's a balanced field. Gilbert obviously the runaway favorite, but I think Des Moines Christian's probably not a heavy favorite at 2. You can see I'm going with probably the public consensus with obviously Gilbert, Des Moines Christian
shoot.
at 2.
Hold on
Pella
a second.
3.
I forgot Pella. Not in my. I don't have them getting in the top 3. I think they're 4th.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think again that's probably what every public person would say is Gilbert, Des Moines Christian, Pella. I'll stick with those 3. I think all 3 are very good teams, and we'll each bring home trophies. My surprise team is Washington. Maybe a little recency bias seeing them in person. I thought their pack was much better than I expected across the board. Their 3 was farther up than I thought. 4, 5 did a great job. So I think if their pack can stick together, obviously currently ranked 13th. I'm not sure how much they'll move up, but I have them finishing somewhere in the top 9.
Mm-hmm. It's a good pick. It's a good Washington team.
Very.
Individual race.
Yeah,
Wow. We've got a difference in opinion here, huh?
I think so. Oh, it's already up on the board, man.
You're going to announce it with excitement.
I think
it
we
is
were.
on the board.
Yep. Just some names in the mix. Austin Sold Switch of Waverly Shell Rock. Grady Oberdings had an awesome season. Caleb Tenpass, we know how solid he is.
Sold which he upset someone pretty good.
I
I'll get
can't
it.
remember.
You keep going.
Rankin of Knoxville looked awesome too in person, but Logan Blake of Gilbert, he's just the sophomore. He would be the star of the show if it wasn't for such a great junior class in front of him. I don't know if he can throw his name in the hat with the 2, Nauman and Dunham. Dunham's only loss on the year is to Nauman by 10 seconds. Nauman's only loss on the year is to Jaden Merrick. So these 2, Nauman's been fairly consistent all year. I think Dunham has stepped it up the last couple weeks especially. I think really gunning for a state title, and that's why I'm going to go Dunham of Pella to take home the Class 3A individual title.
And I'm going to go with Nauman. I think this is a historic race in 3A, one that we'll remember for a very long time. I think the 3A boys and the 4A boys are going to be races that we remember for a long time. Starting with this one here. We'll get to 4A in a little bit. I think this is going to be side by side the entire race. Although Nauman, when he gets in these races, doesn't he kind of stay behind the leader for a while and then he'll make a move or try to make a move?
Yeah, I can't remember. The only video I think I've seen of him is with Merrick early in the season.
and that's where he was behind, I think, at Prairie, right? So this can be a good one, Kyle. I think these guys, and don't throw out 10 pass. I mean, you're talking about a really, really maybe. Well, these guys are really talented. I was going to say, I mean, he is as talented as there is in our state. Maybe sets up better for the track, but he's figuring out this 5K, and I mean, I don't know if he can stay with these guys the whole way, but you're talking 3 incredible runners, big-time runners in this race.
Yes, this is going to be fun. It reminds me a little bit of Mueller-Ramsey from a few years ago. I think Mueller was, and that might even be the case here. Mueller versus Ramsey. You might say Nauman's a slight above Dunham, but you're right. This is going to be a fun one.
Soldwich, a 5-second win over Olberding at the region in Waverly. So a good win for Austin Soldwich. Joel, who do you like, Nauman or Dunham?
I'll go with Nauman.
Nauman. Okay.
We do, before we go 4A, do you want to do our prediction for Gilbert City or Cedar Falls?
Yes. Oh, man. I'm going to say Dowling, Cedar Falls, Gilbert in that order.
You should have stuck to your gut.
Yeah, Gilbert, I told you.
Dowling 35, Gilbert 44, Cedar Falls 45.
Wow. Let's just schedule a triangular with those 6 teams.
James called me out. He says Nevada versus Bondurant at Hickory Grove next year. Duel, 1v1.
That'd be awesome.
That would be sweet.
Now, if it's like track, you have to have more than 2 teams to have it count as a meet or something like that. Or no. In track, to count as official stats. You can't put in a dual meet stats. But I don't think that would matter for cross country. All right, 4A. All the central Iowa and eastern Iowa folks have been waiting for an hour and a half for the 4A section. And we'll start with the girls. And the number 1 ranked team the entire season has been the Pleasant Valley Spartans. They are looking for their 5th state championship. They last won in 2012. They won the PV region with 17 points. Nearly pulled off a perfect score. And I don't know if I can remember a 4A school scoring 17 at a qualifying meet. They took the first 4 spots, and just to give you an idea of how good they ran, Michelle McConkey of Waukee, who was an all-state runner last year for the Warriors, was 5th in this meet. They put 4 in front of McConkey.
They're running well at the right time. They always do, but we should have known it. But just impressive.
Can they finish the deal in Fort Dodge? That's the question that we're going to try to answer here tonight. They have had some really good lead-ups to the state meet, and the state meet hasn't always finished the way they wanted it. So can the Spartans finish the deal? It'll be the question. Malaj and McCombs have improved so much from last year and throughout this season as well. 5 points they were off from the deck last year as a team. Number 2, Johnston, is looking to win the school's 7th state championship in cross country, and to go back-to-back, it would be 7 of the last 11 state titles in 4A girls cross country if the Dragons could pull it off. They won at Southeast Polk with 19 points. Alex Woodley running about as well as anyone in 4A right now. Wharton and Beasley have been really good at number 2 and 3. Kyle, this is a Johnston team that I'm going to have to admit has surprised me with how well they have ran this year.
I agree. I saw them, the opener on their home course, and at that time did not think that they would be competitive with Pleasant Valley.
Then Pleasant Valley smoked them over at Pleasant Valley, the second meet of the year.
But that gap is closing. As you can see, Johnston has taken the lead according to the computer. I think it's going to be even closer than 15 points.
Number 3, Dubuque Senior, another team that has really surprised me this year. Winners of this Dubuque State qualifying meet. It seems like, Kyle, every time Dubuque Senior runs, you just are more impressed and surprised with the result because every time out they get better. 31 points to win the meet. Chesterman, Gorton, and Hoyer are as good as any top 3 around. I'll even throw them in there with the PV top 4. Those 3 are going to be in the mix for podium spots here this week. They return numbers 2 through 5 from last year. This is a very good Dubuque senior team. Centennial, winners at Marshalltown, the state qualifying meet, 29-48, and had their best meet of the year, I think, at Marshalltown. Annika Moorhauser having a great year. Good to see a senior come through in that last season. Hodges, Blevins, Flick, 3 through 5 is going to be critical for the Jaguars. And then the last team here at number 5 is Northwest. Winners over in Council Bluffs. By the way, just a little note on Council Bluffs. As I went to the meet, both the boys and the girls throw out the times. It was not a fast course. So, I mean, you see the boys' times, Dowling kids running 16:20 to win the meet. It had nothing to do with their bad. It was not a bad race. It's just a very slow course.
Wow.
So, just a disclaimer as we go through Council Bluffs here tonight. But a dream season for freshman Ella Jones for the Wolves, state qualifying meet champion. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Emmy Danny dealt with that early season setback. She's coming on extremely strong for the Wolves these last 2 meets, as well as Allison Sheriff. They have a chance to put 2 or 3 in that top 15 to 20 mix, I think, at the state meet. I think those 5 teams with a sleeper of Ankeny are in the mix, and I'll talk about Ankeny in a little bit. So there's your spread for the 4A girls. What are you thinking here, Kyle?
My goodness. This is going to be a fun one, too. I think to start the season, I think we probably could have locked up our podium with Johnston, PV, and Centennial, but Senior has thrown their name into the hat here. My picks, I'm going to go Senior 3. I think that's fair to say. Senior 3, Johnston at 2, and PV is due. They get the win here. Close. I'll say...
Going against the computers, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to say 9 points or less.
All righty. And my picks for the team: in third place, Dubuque Senior. Second, Johnston. And first, Pleasant Valley. The addition of Ani Wiedemeyer, similar to track and field, is the difference for the Spartans. Did she win the qualifier? I think she did. But she's really good. She's really good. Those other girls are really good, and she's just put Pleasant Valley over the top in what was already a state title contending team.
Yeah, she won by 15 seconds over Grace.
There you go. So we have the same picks, top 3. Let's go to our sleeper. And I am going to go with Ankeny. Watch out for the Hawkettes. Drew Beeson did not run at the conference meet, CIML meet. She was back this week on the same course at Southeast Polk, and she got second. My gosh, I'm like about slouched over my chair. But if you were to slide her state qualifying performance into the conference meet, they score 80 points, 5 back from Centennial, and 20 ahead of Northwest. So if that happens, Ankeny's got a chance to be in that 3, 4, 5 mix as well.
And you just mentioned my sleeper team, Waukee Northwest. I was very high on them to start the season. They fought their way through the adversity. They are here in the mix now. I'm going to go Waukee Northwest for my sleeper team.
All righty. And the individual pick. Let's hold up on it real second, because this individual race took us about 20 minutes before the show to pick our forecasted winner. So we'll let Kyle go ahead and try to decipher this meet here in the individual race?
Man, this is probably one of the most wide open of all the classes, all the way down. Charlie Gall, Cedar Falls, Nikia Olivier, Waterloo West is the defending or highest returner. Piper Messerly has had an outstanding season. Annika Morehauser, Alex Woodley, Grace Bolin, Annie Wiedemeyer, even Emma Chesterman of senior, and then you go Drew Beeson of Ankeny. So, man, any one of those.
This is really difficult
This-
to pick.
I think
And they all have head-to-head victories on each other, too. That was the other thing we were having trouble with is you go to one and you say, have they won over this girl? And they've all beat each other.
Right. Sorry, I've been talking too much.
Yeah, it's tough.
No, I'm 100% with you. I think I changed my pick 4 times to 4 different people. And in the end, it was tough, but we did have to make those tough decisions. You going first or me?
You got it.
All right. I'm going with the freshman, Charlie Golf's Cedar Falls. I think she finds a way to get it done for Cedar Falls.
I think from start to finish, she's probably been the most consistent of all of the runners at the highest level. Now, Morehauser is really consistent. Very consistent.
And it is tough, adjusting from the 2 mile to the 5K and, the late season for freshmen to, I want to say, hang on, but just make sure that they have what it takes over 5K as you get into late October, early November. But I do think Gall has that ability, and she's going to showcase that on Friday.
You can put it on the screen because I forgot who I put. Alex Woodley. There it is right there. Hey, the last 3 meets, she's rolled through the CIML. She's beaten Morehauser head-to-head. She's really good right now. And I think this is going to be one of those races where we have 5 to 7, maybe 10 girls with 800 to go. I don't know, man. This is really, really tough.
I would say her and Wiedemeyer have had the best, especially last week, maybe the last couple weeks of the season.
Wiedemeyer's really coming on, and don't count her out to win this as well. She was last year running for City High. See what she finished individually. Pulling it right here. Joel, who do you have to win this individual race?
He says with so much confidence.
She's got the, sounds like a, why does that happen?
I have no idea. He sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
He said Charlie Gall, which is a good pick. Last year, City High's Ani Wiedemeyer was 12th at 18:21. Okay. Let's go to the final one.
Final one.
The 4A boys, and we are gearing up for another epic showdown featuring the Dowling Catholic Maroons, which it seems like every year we're going to have a showdown at the state meet. The Maroons will be seeking their 12th state championship and 4th in a row. Winners of the Council Bluffs qualifying meet with 30 points. As I already said, throw the times out. Not their best day, though. No Josh Mohan. Their pack didn't look like a typical Dowling pack. They did not have their best stuff. I was at the meet. But we've seen before at the state qualifying meet and sometimes at the conference meet, Dowling has kind of like a reset meet. And I'm going to call that's what happened this meet. Cedar Falls, looking for the school's 4th state title. Winners in Dubuque, 31-67. What happened in this one?
Cedar Falls happened. They always seem to just turn it on at the end of the season when you think you count them out and it's Dowling's race, game over. Here they come. They've just, it's who they are. It's what they do, and they always show up. So I was surprised to see that they won by that much, but I shouldn't have been.
I mean, they beat Prairie by one or two, and then
City High.
Yeah, City High. But Prairie was only like 2 back
Right.
from them. And then they just beat Prairie by 2, and they just won by 36. Dominique Williams has been big for the Tigers, and they also got Connor Martin back, running well. Cedar Rapids Prairie coming in at 3, second in Dubuque, led by Bennett Allred and Kyle Johnson. No Nick Lee in that meet for the Prairie Hawks, where they were defeated by Cedar Falls. City High at 4, winners of the Prairie Pleasant Valley qualifying. They looked really good. And this is a non-qualifying team from last year in contention for a third-place trophy. Maybe even higher. Heck, they only lost to Cedar Falls by a point 2 weeks ago. But they look good. Not one of their scoring runners ran at the state meet last year. Didn't even have an individual qualifier that's back this year.
Jeez.
And then for that 5th spot, you've got Norwalk, winners at Marshalltown by 1 over DCG in a Little Hawkeye Conference rematch. They've got their full squad back, Kyle. Arbuckle's back, Graham Eibeling's back, Megason's back. This is the team we thought we'd see at the beginning of the year. Do they have enough time to finish where you thought they could finish at the start of the year?
That's the question. I'll pull that up here quick. Yeah, I guess I had him preseason
4?
I had him 5, you had him 6.
Okay. Well, I think they're right in that mix right now. And then you've got Ankeny and Northwest, the Wolves. So, I think you've got I got to think it's 2-team battle.
What about Prairie with Lee? You don't think that?
No, I don't. I just think I just think these two teams are going to rise to the level here, a little bit higher than those teams.
Man, it's going to be a fun one. You going first?
I'm going to go first in this one. Yep. And my third place team, how about this for a pick? The Norwalk Warriors. 3rd.
All right.
What do you think of that?
I like it.
Okay.
Because I'll get to my picks here in a second.
This is a very, what are you, mocking me?
No.
This is a very senior-driven team with a lot of experience from the state meet. They've went through the 3A to 4A transition. You've got Anania. You've got the rest of the squad. I like this Norwalk team.
It's a good pick at 3.
Acrylic.
Very good pick.
2nd, Cedar Falls. And the state champ. I'm done picking against Dowling. I picked against them like 3 of the last 4 years, and I'm wrong every year. So I'm gonna go with Dowling. I just can't pick against them anymore.
Right. It's their race, or they're the champs until they're not. You know, we've said it how many times. They're basically the Patriots of the NFL when Tom Brady was playing. It's just they just always find a way to get it done, and even the years you're like, okay, they're losing a bunch. They'll be down next year. Right back in the mix.
Well,
so
and Flory and Wolf is nice to have that type of experience to take this team, which does have a little state meet inexperience
right
up
and
there.
Their progression, those weren't guys that just came in as freshmen, sophomores, and just blew everyone's doors off. They've progressed over their time, and just it's who Dowling is. It's who they are, and it's what they're going to be for a long time, I think. Man. I'll go my picks here.
You can't change your pick now.
I'm not
the
changing.
The sign has been made.
I'm not changing. Your pick makes mine look better. My number 3 only lost to your team by 1. I want to go Prairie at 3, and this is no discredit to any other team. I just think this team is going to have a monster day. I'm going DCG at 3. Wow. Just
putting it together. The Valley Girls of last year.
Monster day. I think it's coming.
You're going to will him to it.
I'm going to will him to it. That's right. Coming in week 8, number 15, to a podium team.
That can't count as your surprise team. See what I'm seeing, everyone? He's a cheater.
What? Well, I don't know. Well, never mind. We'll keep moving on. I'm going to keep getting crazy in the 4A boys.
Oh, boy.
I am going to go Dowling at number 2. And I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I should not. And I'm sorry, Cedar Falls, for the bulletin board material that Dowling is now getting.
Dowling had a guy wearing mittens in the race the other day, and it was like 80 degrees down there.
He's Kip too. He always wore mittens. But I'm going to go Cedar Falls. I think that pack is just going to be tough to beat. I think they'll put a couple guys in front of Dowling's 4 and then even more in front of their 5, push some points back. I'll go a 3-point win for Cedar Falls.
Wow. We've
got to have one crazy race over the weekend.
Okay.
And I put all of my crazy picks in one race.
It usually doesn't happen with Dowling, though.
But what is it when everyone tells you to do one thing?
You're right.
That's
what I've been saying to do with Dowling like the last 3 years.
No, I hope it's a good race. I don't wish any ill will on Dowling or any teams for any whatever sort of imagination. But that's my picks. What I'll go with. We'll find out Friday night.
We have an update on the Gilbert publication guy.
All right.
His name is Troy Banning. He's the director of community engagement for Gilbert. And Gilbert is very lucky and awesome to have him.
I would agree.
Wow. What a tool for them. Okay. I love the live updates in the middle. Okay, Joel, you're the 4A guy. What do you have for your top 3 here?
Teams?
Yep.
Dowling, number 1. Cedar Falls, and then Norwalk.
Nice. Okay. All right.
That's your class, too.
Yeah.
You're the 4A expert.
4A expert.
We should make him the 1A expert next year.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get as much gray hair as I have.
Okay. Individuals. Here we go. Did we do the sleeper team?
Mine was DCG, which you won't let me have. So.
And I put DCG. I'd be stupid to not too. So I'm cheating the system too.
Wow. Look who he's calling out.
Honestly, if I had to do a surprise team with your criteria, I'd probably go with either Liberty or Marshalltown. And how about Marshalltown getting in there?
I know. I'm running out of. I went against Ames 2 weeks in a row. How can I go against them a third week in a row? I don't know.
Yeah. All righty, we save the individual race for the final segment of the show, the race of the meet. In my opinion, nothing against the 3A race. I think this is the race of the meet.
This will be a good one too. I think it is down to 2 people.
The
duel, some guys in the mix potentially. If it is a close race or a tight pack or any sort of upset, and it is supposed to rain on Saturday, so not for we're supposed to get rain Wednesday, so that could change some
quite
things
a bit too.
But Owen Merritt, Roosevelt, obviously we've talked about him having a great season. Kuma Gutema of Sioux City North just finished 4 seconds back of Flory and Wolf.
Throw the times out.
Yep.
I saw him run, though. He's impressive. The
Gutema?
freshman. Yes.
All right. Yep. And right there, along with them, Owen Wolf of Dowling and Jack Flory of Dowling. Flory has been in the top 3 every single race that he's been in this year. Keegan Decker, we've seen him. He's always stuck his nose in there with Merrick and Nauman.
He's not far off of those guys.
8 seconds back of Merrick at the qualifier. He's been in top 3 in every single meet as well.
And Merrick broke 15.
Correct.
So maybe it's not a duel.
And he's only a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Keegan?
Is he a sophomore, Joel? Keegan Decker?
That's exciting. And then it comes down to the 2 that I think it will end up coming down to. The defending champion, only loss on the year, is to Jaden Merrick. Ethan Zuber of Ankeny. And then the other guy is Jaden Merrick of Cedar Falls, returning runner-up. His only losses were way early in the season to Nauman and Dunham, but I think he has turned on a different level since early in the season. But it's going to be a fun race between those two, and then that podium. What do you think 15th place is going to be, time-wise?
Oh,
I'll pull up.
15:30 or faster.
Last year, 15:49 was 15th. I'll go with you. 15. It's going to take 15:30 to get on the podium.
I'm going to go slower. I'm going to go 15:40.
All right. Still fast. It's insane.
All right, should we display the picks? You're nervous. There they are.
Not nervous. Not one bit. Yeah, I just talked about it. I'm going to go Jaden Merrick. I think he's just on a different level from where he was beginning of the season. I think he's rolling. Tough to pick against. Will be a fun one. I think it's going to come down to that downhill. What is it, the last 400 meters? Should be a good one.
I had Marshalltown as a sleeper. Look at that.
Look at you.
Look at how that snuck on there.
Jeez.
All right, I'm going with Zuber, as you can see. I still have my sticky note. If he loses by more than a second, it's an incredible performance by whoever beats him. So that's why it's going to take all 5,000 meters to beat him, every second, every half second to beat him. The thing I like about Zuber right now, and this Merrick is incredible. I mean, we had him on the show. I'm a huge fan of him. Zuber's kind of just been underneath the radar for the last month. Hasn't had to race anyone to the caliber of this. He's been running, 15:30 most meets, just kind of chilling. I think that's actually an advantage for him. Merrick's had to race Nauman a couple times. Decker's now in the mix. Now, that could either be good or bad, but Zuber's just kind of going underneath the radar since that loss at Marshalltown. I'm going Zuber.
Good picks.
What do you got, Joel?
I think the computer has it actually pretty close here. Going with Zuber, Merrick, and then Flory.
And absolutely. I mean, Flory, we've talked about his state meet performances are off the charts when he gets up to Fort Dodge, and never count him out.
We got a no socks update.
Yeah. What do we got?
You got it over there?
I do.
All right.
With about 75 votes, 80% says socks, 20% says no
Good.
socks.
I'd say if it was above like 35%, I was going to.
Wow. What an episode.
Did you answer already, socks or no socks?
Yeah.
You were socks guy?
Socks, yep.
He's a Sox guy.
Good.
Well, Kyle, I had a lot of fun doing that. We have a great state meet coming up in all classes, both genders, including the wheelchair, which is an awesome event. It's been a lot of fun to take a look at this state meet and the incredible talent that we have. And what's so impressive is how big of a deal cross country is in the state of Iowa.
I agree. And excited to recap that Monday, 7 p.m.
Yeah, we're going to have some state champions on the show.
Oh, all right.
Yep, we're going to have some state champions on the show next Monday. So we'll be reaching out to them. Could have some repeat people who have already been, and there is our upcoming schedule. Look at that. Monday the 4th at 7, and then our final episode, we have come out with the date for that. That'll be November 13th, a Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Our final episode, the preview to the 2025 season and our way too early rankings.
Got a lot of work to do. I got to dive into the middle school meets a little bit more.
Man.
I've glanced at them throughout the season, but have not had the time to really dive in. So we got some work to do by November 13th. But that'll be a fun one too. It is. It's always fun to look way ahead.
And that'll wrap up our season here on the Exchange Zone. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in each week and for providing your input. We open up that open door of communication, and keep sending us great stuff because it truly does help us prepare and to hopefully make the show better. Next week, as Kyle said, we'll be back on Monday night at 7. The Champions Podcast. We'll be bringing some champions from around the state onto the Exchange Zone, and we'll have another heck of a show. 2 hours and 1 minute later, we are done with the state meet preview show. Anything else, guys?
Nothing for me. Have a good week, everybody.
Drive safe up there. It's always a tough traffic situation. Take your time. Shout out to the state associations for putting the meet on, and to the Fort Dodge High School for helping out, and all the volunteers in the city of Fort Dodge that they provide to make this meet what it is. Don't get too mad about the internet and the cell phone service. There is no short-term solution, it sounds like, so no need to get upset about it. Just know it's going to happen.
I'm excited. Should be perfect racing weather. Good end to an awesome season.
Anything else, Joel?
Nothing to add.
Are you going, Joel?
I plan on going.
All right. I don't think I'm going to make it.
I'll be there Friday only. I will not go up again Saturday.
I can't get out of school. I went to Arizona this last week, so I don't think I can. But I'm going to be tuning into YZeta results, and Josh Gerber will have our results nice and clean, and they will be up to date with split times.
And our managers are a little sad that we usually film the mile and the 2 mile so we can kind of see how they pass.
No need to.
Don't have to, so they get the day off. They're coming with, but they get the day off. So, no, I'll see you at the Quick Star in Webster City. How about that?
All right, everyone. Have a great week. Go out and finish the season on a high note. We'll be back next week on Monday here on the Exchange Zone.